Hey everybody, it's Austin on behalf of American Whiskey. And this week we weren't able to set up a podcast that worked time-wise between my traveling work schedule and everybody else back in the studio. So we are doing a Whiskeys on Wheels edition today. I am down in Houston, Texas, and I'm bringing you bourbon that is out of, it's called Treaty Oak Ghost Hill, Texas bourbon. This is actually out of a town a little bit east of here. It is called Dripping Springs, which is about 30 minutes 30 minutes west of Austin, Texas. So a bit of a drive for me, but thankfully local store down here called Specs. They have a lot of great store picks. This is one of their store picks. It is a 116.8 proof single barrel edition of their, again, Treaty Oak Ghost Hill, Texas bourbon. It is aged at 3 years, 5 months. Obviously I've already sampled a little bit of it the previous days, but wanted to take time out to, again, just give you guys a review. Like I said, when I'm out traveling, I want to share some information on the states that I go to, because whiskey is happening everywhere in the country right now. Bourbon, American whiskey, it's huge. Don't get stuck in the rut of just having what's local. Look for something else that you might not always see, because there are some great gems out there. And before we dive into this one, I'll tell you, this is one of them. By far, from all the different states I've hit and reviewed here on the podcast, this is probably my number one so far going around. As I pour this, color on it is great. It's deep, a little bit of amber, just nice for a 3 year, 5 month. They've got to be doing something to get this type of, color from a product. I've seen some 2 years and 4 years that are nowhere near this deep of an amber brown color. So good on them for whatever they're doing there. Before we get into it, a little rundown. Again, it is 3 years, 5 months. The mash bill is 57% corn, 32% wheat, and 11% barley. They do get all their grains locally. They resource everything. They are a grain to glass operation. Use Texas wheat and yellow corn #1. So with that, here we go. Again, on the nose, dark fruits, like a dark bitter cherry, which I absolutely love. Really good oak barrel smell to this. At 116.8, I can get in there and take deep breath. It's not burning whatsoever. So, really just overall balanced. A little bit of that, graininess, so that barley, kind of a little bit, bread doughy like, but overall, from a smell, I'd probably give this an 8 on smell. Really enjoyable. Like I said, smelling it does not smell like it's 118 or 116.8. Again, on the taste, I get that cherry that I smelled, which again, I get that a lot. So it is one of my favorite scents. And maybe talking to the person there at Specs and sharing some of that, they hit me on the nose with this recommendation. But for 3 years and 5 months, it tastes significantly more mature than what it's actually showing on the barrel or on the label here at 3 years, 5 months. If I tried this off a shelf and nobody told me, I would swear up and down this is probably 8 to 10 year at minimum. Again, it has a little bit of that heat, being 116, but I wouldn't pin this down at 116 either drinking it. Sweet corn's there, cherries there, a little bit of, there's a buttery creaminess to it that I can't quite put my finger on, but it's just, you get a sharp spice up front from that proof. Immediately lays into, those cherries, that, butter, creamy taste that I'm getting. The oakiness, maturity is still there. And, a lot of things I do like putting on Globe or on ice, to cool them down. But this, I absolutely would recommend drinking this neat. Again, just extremely well balanced. So one more time, Treaty Oak, single barrel, Now they do have a 90 proof alternative to this that's not a store pick, so I might have to seek that out and try it as well. Because from a taste point, I'm going to give this a 9.5. It's almost everything I want. The only thing I will slightly knock it on is the flavor holds on for a little bit, but it does kind of go away, making me want to jump right back in, which at 116.8, that's dangerous. I need that to hold on, you know, for 30 seconds or so, like really just like let me sit there and bask in all those flavors that I really enjoy out of it, not make me feel like, all right, I need to like have another sip so that I'm staying up on that flavor. Because yeah, if you're constantly sipping on this, it's going to be a short night. But with that said, this bottle was $65. With it being taking into account it is a store pick, it is a single barrel. I'm still going to give the value a 7.5, because certainly, store picks, that means, they're not getting a price break on it because they're picking a single barrel out. I mean, they might have multiple store picks, but still, they're not getting a price break by buying a single barrel and doing a store pick. With it being a single barrel in general, I look for those things to uptick. So, I'm good with paying that. I would absolutely, if this ran out and then in another year I could find another one, I would absolutely buy another bottle of this. So, I know companies like, Balcones, really big Texas distillery, but telling everybody out there right now, do not sleep on Treaty Oak. This is one I haven't looked online yet. If you can order it online, like I said, I'm down in Houston, Texas right now, so I was able to find it at Specs. But recommend, look around, see if you can find a bottle of this. I'm going to, when I get back home, look to see if I can find a 90 proof variety of this and get it shipped to me or go over to Kentucky or something like that. Because if they're 90 proof, I think it was like $35. If it's even close to this, that value rating for me instantly goes to a 10. That's a $35 bottle that I'm going to have on my shelf all the time. With that said, they do some things. It is, again, certified Texas whiskey. They source all their grain locally. I can't remember what the town was, but it's a fairly close nearby town to them that they're resourcing it from. So it's not even like they're going all over Texas, which is a massive state. They are keeping everything as close to home as possible. And just again, they are knocking it out of the park with this one. So one last time, Treaty Oak single barrel Ghost Hill Texas bourbon, 116.8, absolute buy, recommend. If you find your way to my house in the near future, if you know me, ask for a pour of this. It's worth it, and I think you'll enjoy it. So I'm going to send this over to Anthony, let him work his magic in the background on this, do a little editing, a little American whiskey intro, and a little send-off. But again, Austin in here for American Whiskey on a Whiskey on Wheels edition. Look to be here in a couple weeks. Future dates up in Philadelphia. So talking to a couple other podcasters and folks from that area. I've got some places in mind for Philadelphia. And then in a few more weeks, I will be back out in San Francisco. You may recall that I did a Golden Bars whiskey bourbon review out there a month or so back. Was not good. Did not recommend. So I will be looking for another California whiskey to seek out redemption. So if you know somebody in California, if you're listening and you're from California, drop us some messages over to the American Whiskey Facebook page, email inbox, anywhere you can, because I don't want another Golden Bar experience. That was not good. I don't want to repeat it. So California, I know you can do better. Let's do better. Give me some recommendations on California whiskey and help me find a good one. Because, that Gold Bar, it didn't even make the trip home. It was not good. That was a certified dumper. But, Treaty Oak, I can see why everybody's leaving California and going to Texas, because it's probably for this right here. One last time, Austin for American Whiskey. Everybody, drink it how you like. Go have a pour. Thanks.